Watching News at Prime, and if you're just joining us, we are discussing the war of words that does not seem to be dying down between the ANC and its alliance partners. Listening in on the previous conversation is Young Communist League's first Deputy National Secretary, Tsietsi Letsebe, who joins us via the virtual platform. Mr. Letsebe, good evening to you, and thank you very much for your time. We don't have much of that time, so I'm going to go straight into the issues. Why should ANC leaders continue to stomach what they say are insults from the leadership of the SACP, while the very same leaders, or at least some of them, are serving in this GNU that is labelled a sellout by your leader?
No, thank you so much, and good evening to yourself and the viewers, Mr. Collie. Well, the Young Communist League firstly wants to deposit the point that says that no leader of the Communist Party is in Parliament. All leaders who are in Parliament, as things stand, are comrades who are deployed through the ANC. Everybody who is there has been selected through the process of the African National Congress and not the process of the South African Communist Party. And therefore, nobody represents the Communist Party except the leader of the party himself, the General Secretary of the party, who has clearly outlined what is the party position on this matter of the GNU.
I don't think that the viewers watching this will take that as a fact. Not so long ago, the General Secretary of the SACP was Blade Nzimande. Right now, he wears the hat of chairperson of the SACP. So there is an example of a leader of the SACP who was General Secretary, but also serving in government as a cabinet minister. I'm not so sure your argument holds water. If anything, people might say you are insulting their intelligence.
Well, let me explain this. I thought I would explain this a bit deeper so that you get the sense of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the African National Congress has developed what we call a candidate selection guidelines, which is basically a guideline that leads to people being deployed into Parliament. Now, the African National Congress is the body that has developed those guidelines. Of course, the alliance was consulted, we can't deny that, but the fact of the matter is, as things stand, everybody who's deployed there, at the apex of those guidelines is that you must be a member of the ANC. There are communists who, some of them may not necessarily affiliate to the African National Congress. Such communists would not be able to get deployed to Parliament on the basis that such guidelines are emphatic and are very clear on who needs to be deployed and what people needs to be deployed into Parliament. And therefore, the former leader of the SCP, like you are saying, the former General Secretary of the Communist Party, who is currently the National Chair of the Communist Party, is deployed as a member of the ANC in his own right. There's a clause in the Communist Party Constitution that stipulates this so that we avoid this kind of contradictions wherein we are subjected to views of other organizations inside the party. So I still maintain my point in saying that anybody who's deployed to Parliament is deployed by the ANC. There's no Communist Party that has delegated anyone to Parliament.
Well, I guess in that sense then, you are forcing the inevitable question that has been there for the longest of time. In fact, at one point, the SACP did attempt to go it alone. I think it was in a by-election in the Free State. Why is the SACP not willing to move outside of the ANC nest and contest elections on its own, if indeed you are going to call its positions sellout positions, when it is actually saying this is a tactical move on our part to maintain the stability of the country?
Well, let's put this point across. Let's start here first. The Communist Party does not fear to go outside the nest of the ANC. But equally, let's not create an impression that to contest elections by the Communist Party translates into the Communist Party contesting the ANC. The elections are not solely a responsibility or are not something that is owned by the ANC. The elections are at a range that is contested. Therefore, we want to also re-emphasize our point in arguing that when the Communist Party articulates a position that says the decision that is taken by the ANC, tactically, as they may view it to be right, at that last level, we view it to be something that appears to be a sellout position. It doesn't mean that we are speaking against the ANC or we speak against what we have always stood for. The fact of the matter is, there is what we call the National Democratic Revolution, which is a collective alliance program, and it needs to be defended. And we believe that forming an alliance with a neoliberal party, such as the DA, will not help solve crisis of our country. Neither will it be able to advance the National Democratic Revolution and what it stands for as the alliance and the people's program that has liberated these people beyond even 1994. It has always been a joint alliance program that seeks to liberate the people of this country. And with the DA that stands opposed to such ideals of what National Democratic Revolution stands for, we believe that cannot be, can't solve the problems that we're faced with as a country. And we believe that the ANC had an option or a choice for it to work with other organizations besides the Democratic Alliance, which does not even admit the crisis of what we have inherited from the colonial and apartheid era. It does not admit such. So how do you then expect a transformation to be driven if that's the case?
All right.
With such an organization of such a character.
Let me ask you this final question then, because where things are right now is that there's a stark reality, and that is that the ANC-led alliance is simply dysfunctional, if you like. So, should the SACP remain in this alliance? Do you want for the SACP to remain in this alliance that is clearly dysfunctional? Because you've also been talking about an alliance reconfiguration. That hasn't happened. So, is this alliance serving the interests of parties such as the SACP?
There are a number of things that you can observe. Firstly, to judge the alliance, you can't judge it only merely on based on 2024 election and outcomes. That would be narrow. You would appreciate the electronic that there's been some advances and some gains that have been achieved since 1994 to date. There are progressive labor laws which represent some of the class advances that we stand for as the party. Now, if we're to look into those, but also looking at the current conjuncture, we would agree that there are things that have happened after 1994, the political breakthrough to date. But there are things also, again, that seeks to undermine and reverse such gains. And the party, it taking a stance to say that we oppose the current tactical decision that has been taken by the ANC, or tactical result that has been resolved on by the ANC. Simply, it's a method of us trying to say that we are not pleased with the manner in which things are unfolding. This tantamounts to a clear suicide. It tantamounts to what will reverse the gains. And obviously, there's nothing wrong with the party standing for its position. And unfortunately, it's unfortunate that and appalling that the youth league would respond by creating an impression that by them threatening to take away positions of those who are in government is something that can be able to threaten us or instill fear in party comrades. The fact of the matter is, if let's assume that rightly so they do that, the question would be, what would they have achieved? The fact of the matter is that things are not going well in the alliance, and the decision by the ANC for it to form a tactical alliance with the DA undermines everything that the National Democratic Revolution stands for.
All right.
And in this case, okay.
No, conclude your point. I'm out of time.
Yeah. And I was saying, in this case, the point that we're trying to raise here is that the DA stands as a counter-revolutionary force, worse even than EFF, the MK, and all those reactionary forces.
Okay.
Alternatively, the ANC would have opted for something, but the DA stands opposed to them. Before 1994, after 1994, the DA has just reformed itself to become an even more strong neoliberal opponent force of the National Democratic Revolution. It can't be convenient that today we want to then mask them under an auspices that they're a progressive party. They're not a progressive party. The DA has never been a progressive party. It will never be a progressive party, not even when it is an alliance with the ANC. In fact, it will draw even the ANC down.
Tsietsi Letsebe, let me thank you very much for your time. Young Communist League, first Deputy National Secretary. And that's the show for tonight. Up next, Thabo Mdluli with In Focus.